Hello YouTube. This is Sunday on Starting Out Solitary, and I am your sub-host, Wisps and Whimsy, subbing in for Elliptica 24. Our topic this week is the elements. So our topic this week on Starting Out Solitary is the elements. And I am going to try to avoid doing a Pagan 101 and giving too much information, because I'm sure most of us have done some sort of research into the elements as we're starting our paths. So as you can see, I have a little setup here with the elements as best as I could do it: earth, air, fire, and water. And I am doing this outside. It's a beautiful day, so I'm sitting here on this gorgeous mossy ground, and I have this beautiful breeze flowing around me and messing with the treetops up above me. And so it's just a perfect day to talk about connecting with the elements. Now, in my own path, I guess it was last January, took up an elemental study on the Season of the Seeker with Annie from Mirth and Reverence. And I don't believe that she's filling any more classes right now or in the near future, but if she does open classes again, I strongly encourage you to consider doing this study. It has just opened up so much for me, and I can definitely tell the difference when I become too busy and I'm not able to connect as well and continue the studies the way I want to. There have been a couple times where I've gotten a little behind because things have just cropped up, but Annie is really great about letting us catch up and try to maintain our course of study, and I just can't say enough about how wonderful that course is. So strongly recommend that if you are ever able to do it, or any study that Annie may offer. Now, as I am going through this, and this is probably the most in-depth study of the elements that I have undertaken in any of my pagan studies, because, I have been doing research off and on for several years, but haven't really been on a path, so to speak, for, probably the last year or so. And even so, I did not do an in-depth study of the elements. So this has really taken me out of myself. She does a very step-by-step program. So you start out with researching correspondences and thinking about how you can connect with the particular element within your own life, and then she offers quite a bit more. But I think for many of us, we look up correspondences, we end up with a book of shadows or a grimoire that is filled with information. And then I don't know about you, but I kind of sit there and say, well, now I have this, but what do I necessarily do with it? And so that's why I really enjoy this path, because Annie really helps you connect with that information and put it into your daily life. So for instance, right now, I am sitting here and there's this wonderful breeze that is moving around. And having done this study, I can sit there and say, okay, what do I think of when I feel this air and its lightness, and it kind of helps me remember to pull myself above, because the air is flowing above and it is bringing things from afar. So it's that sense of a different perspective and a bringing in of information, a gathering in of all that passes. And that's the sort of thing I think we need to consider as we are working with these elements, or even just studying them, is that there's a very basic way of looking at them. The most basic connection of this is what is around me in nature and I am connecting with it. And then there's this higher plane that we can sort of adjust ourselves to and bring ourselves to, where we're taking it to a deeper level of understanding and meaning. And I really recommend if you are able to do so, because it has really deepened how I connect and the ways that I connect. And I just feel very comfortable with this path. So as we're thinking about elements and connecting with them, I would really like to hear your thoughts on, especially if you don't have a daily connection with nature, if you live in a city, if you are like me and do an indoor job where it's much harder to get out into nature and really connect. How do you go about doing that? How do you connect with the elements in a way that is meaningful to you? For me, I can definitely feel a difference when I have not been doing the connecting that I believe I am supposed to be doing, because I feel very disconnected. I feel very unsettled, unbalanced. And so I am very curious, what works best for you if you also go through these phases? What methods do you use, or how do you get back to that connection and that feeling of being one with the elements, being part of nature, and just that inner sensibility that helps balance us? So I would love to hear your comments and thoughts on that. And I believe that's all I have to share with you today. So, coming to you from my little spot in the woods, I am Wisps and Whimsy, wishing you blessings.